Okay, so in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make a very simple housing joint. And just to give you an idea of the kind of thing we're trying to create, I've just done a quick sketch up here, a three-dimensional sketch in SketchUp. So we've got the base plate, or the main plane, you'd call that, and the perpendicular piece, i.e. the bit that sits 90 degrees to the surface. Now you'll notice in this tutorial, the actual perpendicular piece is the same length as the base plate that it sits on. Okay, that's quite an important detail to remember for the tutorial. Okay, so what I'm going to draw in 2D design now is something similar to what you can see on screen. So quickly jump over to 2D design. It's got a square base, so just make sure I've got gridlock on, and I'm going to make sure it's about 10 centimeters squared. There you go. Oops. There you go, 10 centimeters squared. Now I want my my piece to sit right in the middle. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is draw a line right down the middle, which I'll delete later, but that gives me the center line of my piece. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is draw the kind of wave shape that sits on top, i.e. 90 degrees to the face. I'm going to start by making sure that it's the same length. Then I'm going to add the features that I really want. Okay. So you can see on this I'm drawing it kind of side on. There we go. Now we know from doing our analysis that a butt joint is really quite weak. That's why in this one we're going to do a housing joint. So first thing I'm going to do now is mark out where the housing joint is going to go. Now because we want this edge here to line up with that edge there, and this edge to line up with that edge, the comb or the housing part that we add here needs to line up with the hole that is going to go here. Now clearly that makes sense. We're going to do a simple housing joint here with just one protruding part. You can have as many as you like, but the key thing is that the different parts line up. So I'm just going to draw another line across here and another line along there, just to make sure the different parts line up, and to show that they're guidelines I'm going to make them green, because we'll delete them later once we've marked everything out. Okay. So next thing to do is to draw the comb part. Now for this it needs to be 3 millimeters thick, because the wood itself is 3 millimeters. So I'm going to get rid of gridlock. I'm going to click on step lock. Okay. Now if you look down here in the rel box, you can see the sizes I'm working with. So that's 5-6 millimeters thick. Move over to 3. There you go. You can see 3 says 3 there on the screen. So I'm going to click until then delete the parts I don't need. That ends up with a little housing part just here. And then with the box tool, I'm going to go back over using the guidelines to help me, and I'm going to mark out a box 3 millimeters thick. There you go. Now at the moment it's not quite in the middle, until a bit taller than I need, so I'm going to zoom in so I can be even more accurate. Click. Move that into position. There we go. Now I can delete the guidelines themselves, and what I end up with is the slot in my work that I need, and the housing element just here. And then when both of those are laser cut, this can sit 90 degrees to that edge and will produce that shape for me. Okay guys, hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions.